second, we're getting the GDP numbers for the third quarter. The advanced estimate coming in at 4.4%. And this is really much faster growth than analysts had expected. The previous quarter has also been revised upwards to growth of 4.5%. So it's a little bit of an easing from the previous quarter, but still pretty strong. Of course, we have seen the reopening in Singapore, an influx of tourists, stronger house prices as well. The quarter-on-quarter number also beating expectations, 1.5% growth, and really bouncing back from a contraction in the previous quarter. We have seen growth really coming from the construction sector, from the services industries as well in Singapore, Heidi.
Yep, and as expected, we are seeing that move from the central bank, the MAS, recentering the currency band. They're saying that they see the 2022 core inflation at 4%. They're recentering the midpoint of the currency band up to its prevailing level, keeping the slope and the width of the currency band unchanged. And as a reminder, as always, Singapore using that exchange rate rather than interest rates like other developed nations to stabilize prices. They had been expected by all 19 economists that we spoke to that they would be making that move to allow the Singapore dollar to strengthen in order to offset these rising prices. We have seen a big post-pandemic boom with the opening of borders, but certainly that has come into play when it comes to higher housing, rental, car prices, and a lot of that has really been borne by local residents as well. But that peak in inflation is potentially coming into the view, and Bloomberg Economics certainly saying that this move to recenter the currency band to the prevailing level should allow for that sufficient slope there to further appreciation in the Singapore dollar near to lean against all of these elevated costs that I've just been talking about. They see 2023 CPI, all items inflation, I should say, to 5.5% to 6.5%. They're saying that policy stance will help dampen inflation in the near term, raising that currency band, maintain the slope and the width. Watching the Singapore dollar as well, we're seeing that climb. The question is really how long that is going to last, given the really overwhelming pressure that comes from the US dollar, and most analysts saying the direction of the Sing dollar really depends on what happens with the Fed and what happens with the US dollar. This is the fifth time now that the MAS has tightened since October of last year, with that core gauge of inflation surging to that 14-year high.